Hi, I'm Vanessa from speakenglishwithvanessa.com. Are you ready to test your pronunciation? Let's talk about it. Do you have good pronunciation? How do you know? The best way to test your pronunciation is to speak with someone else and see if they can understand you, because understanding is the purpose of pronunciation and of speaking. But unfortunately, here on YouTube, I can't listen to you. Maybe YouTube will create that technology someday in the future. So for now, I'd like to give you a different type of pronunciation test. The next best way to test your pronunciation is to shadow or imitate exactly after a native speaker, so that you can see if your pronunciation is similar to mine, is it different, what are the specific areas that are difficult for you. I'm going to be testing your pronunciation on 16 challenging words, but the best way to test your pronunciation is not with individual words, but with a whole sentence. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a challenge sentence that uses 4 difficult words, and this is what I want you to do. I want you to say that sentence out loud before I talk about anything. This is your original pronunciation. I want you to hear your original pronunciation. And then I'm going to read that sentence, but I'm going to mispronounce one word. I want you to guess which word is mispronounced. There are sometimes multiple ways to pronounce each word, but I want you to be listening for what is the most natural way to pronounce each word in fast English. And finally, I'm going to be saying the sentence correctly, and I want you to be able to say it with me. So I want you to repeat the correct sentence with me. Are you ready to get started with sentence number 1? Let's do it. This is sentence number 1. I want you to say the sentence all by yourself. Test your original pronunciation. Go ahead, say it out loud. Okay, now I'm going to say the sentence and I'm going to mispronounce one word. Can you guess which word I mispronounce? I buy clothes through the internet. I buy clothes through the internet. Which word did I say incorrectly? Did you hear clothes or clothes? You heard the second one, but really that's not correct. Instead, when we speak in fast English, we often pronounce close a lot like close the door. I buy clothes through the internet. All right, let's go through each of these challenging words and I want to help you say them correctly. That first word, buy. Buy. It sounds exactly like bye, see you later. Buy. And then we have close, which I just mentioned sounds a lot like close the door. Close the door. When native speakers are speaking a little bit slower, they might add a TH sound, clothes, clothes. You see how my tongue comes out a little bit for that TH? Clothes. But really, when we're speaking quickly, it just sounds like close, close. And then we have the word through. Oh, this word is lovely. We have a TH followed by an R. Let's practice it slowly. Your tongue is coming out between your teeth, and there's some air. That's a wonderful TH sound. Through. It sounds like I threw the ball. This is the past tense of throw. I threw the ball. So let's try to say this. Through. Through. And then we have our final word, internet. What's happening to that middle T? Internet. You can say internet with a clear T if you're speaking a little bit slower, but when native speakers are speaking quickly, we're going to cut out that T completely and just say internet. Internet. Let's go back and try to say this full sentence clearly and naturally together. Are you ready? I buy clothes through the internet. I buy clothes through the internet. Were you repeating with me? I hope so, because we've got 3 more challenge sentences and I want you to test your pronunciation. Let's go to number 2. Here's sentence number 2. I'm going to pause and I want you to try to say this sentence all by yourself. Test your original pronunciation. Go ahead. Okay, now I'm going to say it, but I'm going to mispronounce one word. Can you guess which word is incorrect? A little girl took the recept to the bus. The little girl took the recept to the bus. Which word is wrong? Did you hear receipt or recept? You heard number 2, but that's not correct. Instead, the P is silent. So you're going to say receipt, receipt. Just completely forget about that P in there. All right, let's go through each of these challenging words because I want to make sure that you can pronounce them correctly. The first one is little, little. You see there's 2 T's in the middle of this word, but really in American English, those T's are going to become D sounds. So it's going to sound like lidl, little, like a lid that you put on a container, little. And then we have girl. A lot of these words, girl, world, early, those words can be a little bit tricky, so let's break this one down. Girl, girl. When you want to talk about the sound that an angry dog makes, you could say grr, grr, and then we're going to add ul at the end. Girl, girl, girl. Notice that my mouth isn't really moving here. It's all inside my mouth and in my throat. Girl, girl. And with the L, my tongue is coming beside my teeth. Girl. It's right there. Girl, girl. All right, and the next word is receipt, receipt, receipt. Receipt. This is the piece of paper that you get after you make a purchase. The cashier will give you a receipt. And then our final word is bus. Sometimes this short U sound can be a little bit tricky, so I want to make sure you're not saying bus, bus, boss. Make sure you say bus, bus, bus. All right, let's go back and say this full sentence together. The little girl took the receipt to the bus. The little girl took the receipt to the bus. Did you say that with me? Let's say it one more time. The little girl took the receipt to the bus. Great work. Let's go on to the next challenge sentence. All right, here's sentence number 3. I want you to say it all by yourself. Are you ready? Test your original pronunciation. Go ahead. Okay, now it's my turn. I'm going to mispronounce one word. Listen carefully. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. Which one of these challenge words did I mispronounce? Did you hear warm or warm? You heard that second one, but that's not correct. Instead, the word warm has just one syllable, not warm. Instead, warm, warm. Notice how my lips are in an O shape. Warm, warm, with a clear R. Warm. All right, let's go through each of these challenge words so that you can say them correctly. The first one is early. This is similar to what we talked about with girl, early. Let's break it into 2 sections. And then lee, early. Make sure that when you say the L, your tongue is touching the back of your teeth. Lee, early, early. Don't add another sound in there. I often hear English learners say early, early, but that in the middle isn't natural. So let's make sure you say early and put it together, early. Next we say winter. What is happening to the T in the middle of this word? You might hear native speakers say winter with a clear T if they're enunciating clearly and maybe speaking a little slowly. It's fine to do that, but when native speakers speak fast, you're going to hear winter. winner. When's the Winter Olympics? Winner. This is the same as a winner and a loser. It's the same pronunciation, so make sure that the context helps you to know which word it is. Does this sound familiar? Internet, winner. Yeah, we're cutting out that T, especially when there's an NT in the middle of a word. Internet, internet, winter, winner. You're going to hear that a lot in fast English. Next, we have the word didn't, didn't. But this is the clear pronunciation. When native speakers are speaking quickly, we do not say didn't with each sound pronounced. Instead, you're going to hear didn't, didn't. There's a lot going on here in your throat. Didn't, didn't. So that final D is cut short, and the final T as well is cut. So it's really going to be just your throat. Can you say that with me? Didn't, 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 didn't. If you have trouble pronouncing or hearing or understanding contractions, it's probably because we cut off a lot of those sounds, we reduce them. That's something that's natural in English. I made a video about how to pronounce 81 different contractions. You can check it out up here because this happens to a lot of different contractions, and I want to make sure you can pronounce them, but also that you can understand them. The difference between a positive word, did, and didn't is very important when you're having a conversation. All right, let's go to the last word. Warm, warm, warm. Make sure that this is one syllable. Warm, warm. Do you think you can put all of these words together? You got it. Let's say it together. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. Great work. All right, let's go to the final challenge sentence. Here's our final challenge sentence. Can you say this all by yourself? Go ahead. Now it's my turn. I'm going to mispronounce one word. I want you to guess which one it is. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. Which word is incorrect? Did you hear thought or sought? You heard the second one, sought. But does this word start with an S? No. Instead, it starts with a TH. So you need to make sure that your tongue is between your teeth and there's that stream of air coming through. Through. We already talked about that word. Thought. Thought. All right, let's go through each of these challenge words so that you can pronounce them correctly. What's happening with this word definitely? Definitely. I feel like words like definitely, certainly, probably, those words can be a little bit tricky. I talked about some of those in this pronunciation lesson up here, but the word definitely we use a lot, and you probably would like to use a lot, but you need to pronounce it correctly. So let's break it down. Definitely. 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 It's definitely a beautiful day. This is definitely a helpful lesson. I hope so. The next word is that lovely word we just talked about, thought. Thought. Make sure that your tongue is between your teeth. I often hear English learners switching an S and a TH sound, sought instead of thought. And in some situations, this could be a little bit difficult for other English speakers to understand you, so make sure that you say this correctly. Thought, thought. And then we have the word water, water. What's the sound that you hear in the middle of this word? Water, water. Well, it's not a T sound, water. Instead, it's a D. Here we have again, the T is changing to a D. This is typical in American English. Water, water. I want you to say that with me. Water, water. And finally, we have the word beach. Beach. A lot of you are concerned that you might say a rude word instead. So let's practice that vowel sound. It needs to be a long E. Beach, beach, beach. And really, the context here is going to help you a lot. So when we're talking about the water at the beach is salty, you're most likely talking about the ocean, the sea. You're not talking about a rude word. So I think the context is going to help you a lot. But make sure that when you pronounce it, you say E, beach. All right, let's go back and say that full sentence. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. Great work. I hope that you had a chance to say that sentence out loud with me and test your pronunciation. Are you ready for a final challenge? We're going to go back and say all 4 of those sentences, and I want you to say them out loud with me. I'm going to say them 2 times so that you can listen and then you can also repeat. Are you ready? Let's say them together. I buy clothes through the internet. I buy clothes through the internet. The little girl took the receipt to the bus. The little girl took the receipt to the bus. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. Great work testing your pronunciation muscles. And now I have a question for you. Let me know in the comments which one of these words is the most difficult for you to pronounce. Let me know. I'm sure that there will be people around the world who have the same feelings as you. It's always good to feel like you're in this together. Well, thank you so much for learning English with me. I'll see you again next Friday for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye. The next step is to download my free ebook, 5 Steps to Becoming a Confident English Speaker. You'll learn what you need to do to speak confidently and fluently. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more free lessons. Thanks so much. Bye.